Hi and welcome back. So now we're going to be trying to set up connectivity between our Kali Linux VM and our Windows VM. For each, we're going to have to see what IP address each VM has been given, and we're going to test it, and then we may have to change some configuration settings. So let's check the Kali Linux one first. For Linux, it's ifconfig, and then ETH0 is the connection that we have, and the IP address that it has is 192.168.52.128. So let's go across to the Windows VM and also open up a command prompt. Just going to run it as administrator. For Windows, it's ipconfig, slightly different. And here we can see on the private network, it's 192.168.52.129. From here, we can try and ping 192.168.52, and for the Kali Linux, it was 128. We can see here that we can ping our Linux machine. If we go back to our Linux machine, same command, 192.168.52, and then 129 for the Windows. So here we can see that it's hanging. So the ping actually isn't working from the Kali Linux to the Windows one. This will be because the Windows firewall is blocking that ping connection. So generally on Windows machines, it'll allow things to go out, but it won't allow connections to go in, which is an important concept later on when we get into trying to create a reverse shell, is we want to make that initial connection out because the Windows firewall will allow that. For the sake of this demo, I'm going to turn off the Windows firewall, and I'm also going to turn off some of the security settings just to try and make the exploit run a bit smoother. I don't recommend this for your host machine at all. And in general, when you're testing, you want to kind of do it so that you're exploiting the machine that's how it's normally set up by default rather than making it easier for yourself. So if I go into Windows security, there is a lot of settings in here that we can change. What I'm going to turn off is I'm going to turn off the domain and private firewall network and then try and ping again and see if that works. So it's asking for admin to say that I want to turn this off. Yes. And as we can see here that our device is unsafe, so you can easily restore the settings. Options will always come up all the time. I'm leaving the public network on, so the public network is anything that's not a 192 address in that range, and that'll be going out to the internet. So I'm leaving that on for a little bit of safety. If I just minimize this, don't want to open that. I go back to my Kali. If I press the up arrow, it'll give me my last commands that I ran. So I just want to do the ping again. It looks like it's still not working. So from here, let's try, and going back into security settings, this could be interrupting. So let's try this. Let's go back to the Kali up arrow. And it looks like it was going through the public network. So I wasn't able to ping that. Cool. So now I have network connectivity to my Windows VM. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to turn off some of the security settings that will lead into our next video for hacking the Windows 10 VM, I guess, or getting a reverse shell. So there's a fair few settings in here. Virus and threat protection. So I want to turn real-time protection off. Cloud delivery protection. I don't want to sample it. It's just going to be off-the-shelf exploits that I'm using. So I'm not too worried about the sampling, but I don't want it to like stop my exploit. Let's check out here. It's not set up. I can leave that off. Firewall is off. Check apps. So this is going to warn. I'm just going to turn this off. Okay. Because what I'm going to be using is an executable to come across. Smart screen. Let's turn that off. Apps. It's not really going to matter. Exploit protection settings. I want to turn these settings off as well. Data execution. Yes. Use default is off. 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 As you can see, there's a lot of protections in Windows now, which is a really good thing for us as users. Not so great when I just want to do a demo. Cool. All right, so it's asking, these ones I all need to restart. Isolation. All right. Let's double check. Okay. So as a note, after I do this exploit, I'm actually going to blow away this Windows 10 VM and not use it again, just because I know I've already exploited it and I don't want that to be an issue in the future. I'd recommend the same, is just doing this as a demo and then getting used to it. And each time you want to do it is just restart a new VM until you fully understand what you're doing. Cool. All right, I'm going to stop the video here. I'm going to restart this VM and we'll come back and we'll get into exploiting the Windows 10 VM with the Kali Linux one. I'll go through a scenario. I'm not going to do each step. I'm just going to show it for the sake of showing you how to use certain tools and get used to it. And then right at the end, I'll give you some recommendations on where to go from there in the future if you want to do this as a hobby.